Assalamu alaikum and welcome to my channel QA Pulse, where quality meets precision. Today I am going to tell you about the difference between static testing and dynamic testing. So let's start. The basic definition of static testing is that basically it is performed to check the defects in software without actually executing the code. And it is like a detective who loves catching issues before they become bugs. On the other hand, as the name suggests, dynamic testing is performed to examine the functional behavior of the software based on the dynamic inputs. Dynamic testing of software product is performed after compilation of the software code, and it is performed by the tester, and the main objective of this testing is to confirm that the software product works in conformance with the business requirement. And it is like the action hero who loves running the code and catching runtime bugs. So guys, this was the basic definition and objective. Now let me tell you what they actually do. Static testing focuses on reviewing documents, code, and design, and that's why it requires a checklist for this purpose. And whereas the dynamic testing focuses on executing the software, as I have already told you, so it requires detailed test cases. You have to prepare the test cases for before and for reviewing the whole software. So a review checklist and test cases, you can say these are the prerequisite for static and dynamic testing respectively. As already discussed, that static testing is done through reviewing documents, so it follow different review techniques like informal review, walkthrough, inspection, whereas dynamic testing follows different testing techniques like black box testing, white box testing. I have discussed techniques in my other video, you can see it. Static testing is performed in the early stage of development to avoid errors, as it is easier to find sources of failures and it can be fixed easily as early as possible, whereas dynamic testing is performed after compilation when the code is ready for execution. So it is a time consuming process, and especially in case of complex system and large test suites. I can give you example like static testing is planning a road trip, okay, and dynamic testing is the actual drive. And I would like to add one more fun element here, that static testing is like finding typos in your crash text before you hit send, especially for saving face. And the dynamic testing is like a trampoline, exciting until you realize there is a hole. So guys, these fun elements will help you remember the difference between the two. Okay, as I have already told you that static is done early, so it is about the prevention of defects. This dynamic is done later, so it's all about finding and fixing the defect, so it follows corrective approaches. Static testing may complete 100% statement coverage incomparably in less time, and dynamic testing only achieves less than 50% coverage. Okay, basically it is like static testing is like checking a map of a park from your couch. Okay, you see every path and corner instantly, covering 100% of it without ever stepping outside. On the other hand, dynamic is like actually walking through the park. You only explore the paths you can physically reach, and by the end you have covered less than 50% because walking takes time. So I hope it will make it more clear. And I would like to also add a joke here, that static testing finishes fast and says I know everything, while dynamic testing says I may not know it felt the potholes. Okay, dynamic testings, like defects found during static testings, are much cheaper to find and fix for the organization than in the dynamic testing. It reduces the development, testing, and overall organization costs. Static testing is verification and dynamic testing is validation. Imagine you are checking a cake recipe. You review the ingredients, measurements, and steps. Everything looks perfect on paper. You say this will be an amazing cake. Now you actually bake the cake, you taste it. Oops, too much salt. That's when you find out if the cake is really good or not. So, static testing says it should work, and dynamic testing asks, does it actually work? That is the concept of verification and validation. So, guys, always remember together they are the power couple. Static testing saves money and time by fixing errors early, and dynamic testing saves your users from crashes and your reputation from bad reviews.